We do have a lot of young people, a lot of students and volunteers. A couple of questions here. Trying to break into sports, what's the #1 skill I can bring to the table? Segue into advice you give any young people looking to get in sports. I'll start again with you, Kevin.
I think grit. I mean, the #1, I can't remember the last time I looked at a transcript or a resume, or I mean, I look at a resume here and there, but it's really, I need to spend time, and it's grit. I think the thing that...
What defines grit for you?
Meaning that you are willing to do anything and everything that it takes within the rules, within the laws, and by treating other people with respect to get things done. I think the biggest thing that I see, not to generalize, but in a lot of people trying to break into business, is they want to go from getting hired on Monday, and then on Friday they're, have a corporate card and flying on private jets and making all the decisions. They just, I mean, things take time. I mean, it takes a long game, and I think an overnight success is probably 25 years. And so you have to have the stomach to be able to just grind it out on the good days, on the ribbon cutting days, but those are far and few between. It's a grind. And so I think that's the biggest thing, advice I would give to any young person, any person wanting to get into sports, is to just be mentally, physically, have a tough constitution.
Buffy?
Well, I tend to talk a lot to young people. Yeah. And I'd certainly say that the industry itself, we are in this amazing industry that can change the world. And we bring people together in wonderful venues to have competitions. And so we do get to change the world. Think that there are some professions in which, yes, they're helping people stay well, like healthcare, et cetera. The one thing that I think that the younger people may not know how to do as well is communicate what you offer. What is a skill set that you do? And we do this great when we're athletes. We actually tell somebody, if I'm going to apply for a scholarship at a college, I will tell you my best time. It's then making sure that the young person does the same thing on a business skill. What is the best skill that you offer me so that I can fit you into wherever I need you?
Bob?
Great advice, by the way. We used to get thousands of resumes when I was running IMG. And even before the internet and Google and everything made it so easy, and friends would call and say, "Would you please meet my son or daughter?" And they love sports. They'd come in and they'd say, "I love sports, and I'd really like to work in the sports business." And I'd say, "And?" So be prepared. Figure out what you're trying to do, what you want to do, what the company does. Be prepared to speak to the company in some intelligence. Tell them your best stuff, and be willing to get in at just about any level. But I often felt, maybe it was because people thought they liked sports, they want to be in the sports business. An awful lot of the young people were just not very prepared when they would come in to speak to us. So I think Buffy's advice is wonderful advice, and I'd add to it, now with Google and everything, you can come in and talk about a company and know so much about it before you interview. Get ready, be prepared, try and find a niche and go after it.
Ron?
Fabulous stuff.
Yeah.
Fabulous stuff. I'm going to use the words of Jim Valvano. Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
That's great.
That's good.
Earl?
It's not easy.
It is great advice, but I think for me, the one thing I've found with especially the young graduates is they sometimes are afraid. They're afraid to commit, they're afraid to engage, they're afraid to understand, and they're worried they're going to make a decision that affect them for 100 years, not just the first year. And so getting them to understand that you have a long career ahead of you is a hugely important part of how they look at.
Really good. That was